Hey, so how's it going, guys? So for this week's video, we're going to be working on my headlights of my 97 Corolla. So I know it doesn't pick up very well on camera, but these are starting to yellow pretty good. So I hope it picks up in the film just how yellow they are. I'm just going to show you a couple of quick steps on how to get this done. There's multiple different things you can do as far as getting a headlight clear again, or as clear as possible, so that you don't have a lot of yellowing. The yellowing essentially is from the UV rays. It eventually turns the plastic on the lenses to like a yellow. So we're just going to do our best to try to clean these up and get them as clear as possible. Again, there's multiple different ways to do it. We're just going to do it the same way I've always done it. It seems to be the most effective for me, at least. Obviously the most effective way is just to replace them, but we're not going to do that. These are the original headlights to it. I do have an extra set, however I'm waiting for a piece for them, because I did change these out about a year ago to some clear aftermarket ones to match the side markers over here, which are also starting to kind of yellow, I think. But ultimately I had to put the originals back in. So I have already started in a sense of this is the passenger side. I'll show you the left side. So I did cheat a little bit. I went ahead and taped it off and got it all covered and masked and all that. So I just took a trash bag, laid it over, and started taping it up and kind of cutting it out just so that it's a little easier to work around. So some of the things we're going to be using, just to show you real quick, we're going to be using some cut and clear. We might use some of this mirror glaze, I'm not sure. Going to need a drill of some sort. And then for me, I picked this up as a kit off Amazon, and it's a little drill attachment. It has these little Brillo pads, and each Brillo pad is like a different grit. So we have reds, we have green, kind of a grayish black colored ones, we have green ones, we have orange ones also on another thing. And I think we had some other grits on here as well. And then of course we have like our polishing pad for our compounds. And we're just going to see what we can't get done with just these few basic things here. So like I said, I already went ahead and taped it off. Got everything covered around it just to kind of protect the paint and all that. And I think you can kind of see, it's still a little hard in the video to see, but you can kind of see the yellowness or the fadedness of the light, especially right around in this area. You can kind of see it. So we're just going to go through the steps, and I'll just show you how I basically do it. Get our drill set up here. So you can use soap or water or whatever. I'm just going to take a little bit of this cutting compound here, and I'm just going to basically take it. I'm going to take the drill, take a little bit of this, just add to it. Just a little bit, not a lot, like that, just to have something as a lubricant across here. that. There we go. Alright, and we'll just take a microfiber cloth on that. We're going to take just a little bit of this, just a little bit of, I'm going to use mineral spirits, but you can use like denatured alcohol and do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of let it dry into my rag a little bit so it's not oversaturated. I'm just going to lightly rub over it like this, just to get that off of there. Plus that'll get all the chemical compound off of it. Give you a nice cleanable work surface. Like that. Now you'll notice as it starts to dry, it starts to kind of haze like that. That's okay. That's kind of what you want to, that's what you kind of ultimately want to see. So stick that back there. And depending on how rough it is going to be dependent on the coarseness of the grit that you want to go with. I went with kind of a heavy one, and now you can kind of see my pad. It's kind of starting to yellow up a little bit. That's okay. So now we're going to switch over to a black one, blackish gray. It's a little bit softer, less coarse. It's a little more fine, I guess, is the correct way to say it. It's a little bit more fine. It's not as coarse. So again, I'm just going to add a little bit of this to my Scotch-Brite pad, like so. Now I'm going to go in the opposite direction. There we go. Alright, wipe it down again. Like so. And what you'll start to notice is, even though it's still kind of hazed, the more you work it, the more that fogginess is going to go away from it. It's going to start to get more, you'll see more of the silver or the chrome backing inside the lens, and you'll start to see less of a yellowness and less of a hazy type thing the more we go. So these actually aren't as bad as they used to be, but they're still bad enough that I want to go ahead and do this anyhow. So now I'm going to switch over to my orange pad. Orange Pet is, I think, the softest one that I have. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little bit of this on there, like that. I'm gonna use my rag to kind of wipe it in, like this. All right, good enough. Again, go back the opposite direction. I'm gonna swap directions. All right. Do one final wipe down. You can already see how much clearer that's getting. It's getting a lot better. I'll go ahead and wipe this down again. It's going to give me a nice clean surface to work with. And you can do this as long or short amount of time as you want. Just don't apply a lot of heat to it. Don't let it get dry. You can use soapy water. You can use glass cleaner, like I've used Windex in the past to do this, just to get it started. So that's pretty clear compared to what it was. And that actually didn't take too long at all. It'd take you longer to prep for it than what it will to do it. And so what I want to show you though, let me get you guys off of here for a second. The reason I take this off is because if you look right here, you can kind of see here and here where the edge of my drill attachment kind of touched, but it didn't hit my paint, luckily. But that's one reason. Plus you can see all this. This is all the stuff that came off of that lens. Some of the particles and some of the dirt and debris and all that. So that to me looks a whole heck of a lot better than that. Again, I don't really know how well that's picking up on camera. So here's the one we just cleaned. Let's walk over here. I want to look at the lens with you guys and see. Yeah, it doesn't really pick up. You can kind of see some yellowing through that picks up on video. You can't see it all. So, but more importantly, now that we got this basically through the steps, and you don't have to have this stuff. You can do this with like sandpaper. It just takes a lot longer. You can do it by hand as well. And then I'll also tell you about some, once we're done, I'll tell you about some other options that you can do as well. So now that we're done, we'll go ahead and tape off that again, just so it covers those holes that tore in the bag, like that. I'm going to tape over some of that as well. Stretch that bag back out to the way I need it to be. Cover up some of that dirt, that way it decides to come off, we'll be okay. So like I said, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. As far as, you could leave it like that and you'd be fine. You could just polish it out. With like this right here, you could go and you could kind of polish it out, which we could do real fast. It doesn't take but a second. So let's pull this one off. Backers get kind of hard after a while, so pop that on there, and let's do a fine cut on here. We'll do some of the Meguiar's fine cut. Just to have some different options, I'm going to rub it in on my pad a little bit, like so. Let's go ahead and give it a polish. Let's just take a new clean rag here. We're just gonna hand polish that, like so. Get it off, get all that off of there. Get around all the cracks. Okay, so like I said, we could stop there, or we can go one step further. So let me grab something and I'll show you. So by my extra step, what we're gonna do, we're gonna clear coat it, which is why I taped all this off. We're just gonna try to wipe up all the debris that we possibly can. We don't want any of this getting into the clear coat, so wipe off all the dust, make sure this is dust free, all that good stuff. Give us a nice clean, workable. And if you're gonna do this, you might use a tack cloth, but I don't have one, so. A little bit of a test spray on that. Now you're gonna want to do this in thin coats. Now just leave that as is, and as that starts to dry, it'll soak into that plastic. So now you can kind of see it's kind of looking a little hazy right now. So once that dries, and we're out in the sun, so it shouldn't take too long to do, we'll hit it with a heavy coat. And once we hit it with that heavy coat, that's when it's really going to come through, and that's when it's really going to clear that up a lot for us. So we'll let that dry a little bit, and I'll probably go ahead and start prepping the other side and getting it ready while this one's drying. And then once we get this dry enough to do a secondary coat, usually takes about 15 minutes. I think it says on the back of the can here how long to wait for. It says dries the touch in 20 minutes, handle in 1 hour, and fully dry in 24 hours. So we can do about 10 to 15 minutes in between coats. So I'm just going to use my watch as a timer, and that'll give me enough time to go ahead and get the other side taped off. So once that first coat kind of dries, I'll probably wait about maybe 10 minutes or so, and then I'll apply a secondary coat again. I want to do about 3 coats on this, but I'm not going to make you watch this all over again, so I'll go ahead and prep the other side, and then once this is ready, we'll hop back on and we'll start to show you the progression of it. Alright, it's been about 7 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and lay our next coat down. A little bit heavier of a coat that time. Now you can start to see the haziness go away, and we'll let that dry, and we'll probably do maybe one more coat after that. So we're going to let this one dry this time for about 20 minutes or so. Let it get really in there, and then we'll do one last final pass, and that'll pretty much be it. So some of the things I was talking about, just because we're basically, this is pretty much what it's going to look like at this point. It'll just be maybe a little bit more clear. It'll look more like this over here. But just some of the things to go over really quickly. One is, if you're going to use the drill and drill attachment like I did, don't put a lot of force behind it. You want to let the pad and the lubricant that you use, whether it be soapy water, glass cleaner, or compound like I used, to let that do most of the work for you. So don't put a lot of pressure behind it. Like I said, you can use hand sandpaper and do this. You'll need to go through the stages with hand sandpaper. So when I would do it by hand, I would do it like around a 600 or 800, and then slowly step up, and my final would be like a 3000 or a 5000, and then clear it, or clean it off and then clear it. The next thing is if you're going to clear coat it with a rattle can like I am, and it's kind of starting to do it right here, when you do it, do light coats. Don't do super heavy, because what'll start to happen is if you try to go real quick with it and you go one heavy coat, it'll start to do like a crackle effect across it, and that's definitely not what you want to get in that, because then you'll have a clear headlight, but it's going to look like crap, and that's not what we're going for. The next thing is if you don't want to clear coat your headlight, and you just want to get it to a clear thing, they do make headlight restoration kits that basically it's the same thing. You're just wet sanding it, and then it has like a little pad that has some type of chemical in it, and you just wipe it over, and it gives it a real clear, glossy shine. The only issue with that is it doesn't last as long. You'll be doing it, especially if you go to a car wash a lot, you might get about 4 to 6 months out of it, if that, depending on how much you wash your car. The next thing is there is a third option, which I want to get and investigate, just to kind of try it out. There is one. Basically, you wet sand your glass or your lens, and then you basically, they have like what looks like a steamer, like a steam pot or a kettle, and you hook it up and you put this chemical inside of it, and it's kind of like a steamer. Once it starts, it gives you an indication that it's ready to go, and you kind of use it almost like a paint gun, and you go across it with the steam stuff, and it not only gets the stuff on the outside, but it gets to the inside of the lens as well, so it gets it on a deeper level than what clear coat is going to do, obviously. I don't know how long those last or how long it's good for. This is the second time I've done these headlights. The last time I did this process to these headlights was about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's been a good while since I've done it. They've held up phenomenal. Thirdly, on your newer cars, say like 2002 or newer or something like that, the ones that have the real thin plastic lenses, be very careful with those, because you can only do this so many times before you're going to have to replace that lens, because essentially what you're doing is you're sanding down that outside layer to get to a new layer of your lens. Another thing is if you've done this once and you go back to do it again, do know that you might have to go a little bit heavier on the sanding portion of it, just because you're trying to get the old clear coat level layer off, along with attempting to get to a new layer underneath of it. So just keep that in mind as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I've seen that we've picked up a few new subscribers, so welcome to the channel. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, this is pretty much it. This is just simple, easy. It's literally taken me from beginning to end. We're at about 26 minutes, but that's with me talking. So all in all, you can do this. You can do one headlight with the taping off, which I know I didn't show you in the video. Taping off with just painter's tape and a trash bag. You can do this whole process in about 20 minutes per headlight, so you're about an hour for the whole setup, depending on how bad your headlights are. And you don't have to do the whole trash bag thing. I just prefer to do it just because it's less chances of clear coat getting into other body panels, or even nicking my body panels when using this. But yeah, that's it for this one. I appreciate you guys coming back week after week, time after time, and I will see you guys in the next one.